Hey, Crown Content Publications followers, viewers, and supporters. Thank you for tuning in to another segment with the Crown Content Publications YouTube channel, where publishing and marketing meet, of course. If you've been following us, that is our tagline. And if you'd like to learn more about our services and mission to assist authors and freelancers in the year 2022, feel free to visit my website, www.contentcrownpublications.com, which is ironic because on every segment I don't get to go like deeply into like the services, and we talked a lot about the background and how I ended up merging into a publishing services coordinator. See, I first started researching jobs for publishing houses, or what comes with the life of a literary agent, and I learned really quick. See, we research. Go ahead and get this video a like, because the title of it was called Self-Publishing During a Recession or Economic Setback, or what, a pandemic, okay? What is self-publishing going to look like? How is it going to be different? Actually, I'm going to give my opinion on why you should go ahead and publish that book you've been sitting on for 5-10 years before the pandemic. I'm going to go ahead and encourage you to go ahead and spread your wings out about that book that you have deep inside wanted to publish for the longest. You didn't know how it would make your family feel. You didn't know how it would make this person feel. You didn't even know if it would make book sales. Okay, but we're going to talk about stuff like that, because though that is one of the things to consider, those are some of the things to consider, most definitely. But there are ways. For example, you can remain anonymous. Of course, the most popular books are the ones that are saying, yes, this is me, this is my story, and this is everybody that was in the story with me. Those are the books that people love. We all know that. Like, everybody loves a true, raw story, right? But that's on the biography, memoir side of things, because the book that you might be sitting on may not have nothing to do with your life at all. Maybe it was just inspired by your life. Maybe you're a gamer and you thought about bringing your own anime stories alive, or you're a chef and you've thought about cookbooks. You're a beautician and you've thought about publishing books or booklets, okay? Brochures that can help your clients outside of business, okay? So to me, a good business always has tools, tips, and resources that their customers and clients can use when they're not using their services. So not every business is even built to be able to bring that. Let's take nonprofit organizations, for example. They may have a website with a page of resources, right? Not just what they can help you with as their nonprofit organization. They're letting you know, hey, we have other resources we can connect you with when it comes to jobs, or you being an entrepreneur, or you trying to save money, or you're trying to fix your credit, right? That's an example I can give. And you're like, what does that have to do with me possibly wanting to publish a book during a pandemic? I'm just kind of giving you foresight on what an author may do, right? They may think about books from time to time that are not just going to put money in their pocket because they're selling books. Is this book helping somebody somehow? You remember I just mentioned chefs? Chefs like to brag, y'all. It's okay. I've been fortunate because I do love to eat. Like, I come from a place where I used to eat, so I really don't know what happened, to tell y'all the truth. It's not that I don't like to eat now. I'm actually glad that part of me is resurrecting, because sometimes life just takes you through things. I'm not anemic. I'm not what's the other one, bulimia. I don't suffer for those things, but sometimes I just don't have an appetite, right? Or sometimes I get so busy with work, I'm like, man, food is I'll wait till I get to that last inch. Just like with a car, you wait till you get to that last inch of gas. Some of us, before we even think about stopping at a gas station, because it just takes time. But it does come down to priorities. Anyways, I'll wait to the last inch of energy, and I'm like, look, I can go another 5 minutes without eating something. I grab me a salad, and if I'm really busy, just like a smoothie or a shake. But I'm just happy on my side of things that I don't know, that's reawakening in me. Like, whoever made me feel like I overindulge or I eat too much, they really did do that. That is real. Don't let nobody. We did a segment already about word curses, y'all, and uprooting negativity out of your life. Those negative words that keep replaying or whatever. Somebody called you fat, or somebody said you eat too much. You know what I mean? There's not enough. I mean, whatever it was, it'd be the stupidest, littlest things, and that's why we do have you guys to look at that in business. So, I'm just kind of all over the place when it comes to the introduction to a topic like this, self-publishing during the pandemic. Encouraging you guys to self-publish during hard times. You think Anne Frank thought that one day her whole diary would be a book? Like, really think about that. You think the Helen Keller story, this was somebody's real life and something they really experienced, and there were no books of Braille. Before this story happened, there was no way for blind people to be able to just, you know what I'm saying, still feel around and read what they're reading before this woman's real story. And you think your story doesn't matter during a pandemic? So let me stay on track. I just named two there. Let me go back to Anne Frank though. Like, this is not about the Holocaust. This is not about how you feel about Germany at this time. This is not about how you feel about Hitler. Let's look at the literature part. Stay on track with me about the literature part and what I'm trying to say. Anne Frank had no idea, probably, that her secrets, and we don't know if all her secrets are in the original published Anne Frank story book, The Diary of Anne Frank, because you got lots of books about her life. But you think that young lady thought one day somebody would find that diary and it be a whole historical pretty much reference for people, and a book that many of us had to read. I don't know about y'all, we had to read the story in 10th grade. I had to do a book report. I remember answering critical thinking questions about the Anne Frank story. So this means this story also got as big, her diary also got as big as being incorporated in public educational literature curriculum. And maybe even some colleges, maybe depending on what you study, you still have to read Anne Frank, okay? And you still have to do those book reports. But talk about inspiration. See, you're not in a, and yes, let me give my reverence and sensitivities to what's going on in Russia and Ukraine right now, but it's more than that going on in the world, and you still think you don't have any inspiration or any motivation at all to go ahead and publish that book that you've been sitting on. For those that might be new to my channel and those that have never heard of Crown Publishing Content at all, my name is Miss Whitney, author, podcast show host, and publication services coordinator. Our mission is to service authors and freelancers because, number one, before there was a pandemic, what we did is strategize and pretty much come up with ways that beginning authors, people with passions to write, poets, journalists and things like this, film writers, filmmakers, right? All of this has to do with content. All of it has to do with writing. So what we said is, how can we, because there's a million content writing services business in the world. That I'm not going to try to hold back from y'all and tell you. So you can go research many of them and still call me later, okay? Because hopefully by then, I can't say that I'm still offering the same services. I'm going to stay with the writing industry. I just feel that strongly. But hopefully by then, you are even able to see yourself, okay, I see what she was trying to say. I see what she means on her YouTube channels when she says publication services and publishing house companies are two different things. Might I start working for a publishing house one day? Maybe. The thing is, why wouldn't I take the opportunity to pretty much build my own publishing house if I was given that opportunity, right? Because I know that with my own publishing house, I can pay my employees what I would like to pay them. I can even charge my clients what I would like to charge them. Like, it's just an opportunity for something new to be birthed. At this time, Crown Publishing Content is a content management services company, okay, where we're publishing and marketing meet, because we also help our clients market and promote not just their books, not just their services, not just their poetry, but now freelancers and entrepreneurs. We want to help you guys promote your businesses, okay? It's a pandemic, but my main point is that before a pandemic, we had the type of heart at Crown Publishing Content to think about I don't know, the economical advantages and disadvantages of society across the globe, okay? Before the pandemic, a lot of us saw that there was something going on, you know, before gas prices rose, before you had food rising. And if I'm not mistaken, food has been rising. I don't know where y'all got maybe it's just the communities I'm from and what we've been seeing over the course of time, but prices were rising already. Or you had big car lots with I don't want to really, y'all can go do the research. Number one, if a company like Ford can have vehicles recalled at any given time because they made a simple mistake, companies like BMW, and this is two real vehicle companies, I can tell y'all did go through this recently. You got other small businesses that were like in the food industry, for example, that said, hey, like Bluebell, we got to recall ice cream all of a sudden. This stuff, all I'm saying, is happening before there was a pandemic, before that stuff was happening, so it just made you like, wow, a big company like that can make a mistake. I mean, Bluebell can have to recall whole pints of ice cream. The candy yam people, I forgot, the collard green people, they used to ship them in cans for us. You know, you can buy fresh vegetables, or it can come in cans. Sometimes their stuff had to be recalled, okay? So this is just stuff I was noticing long before a pandemic. If you haven't already, let me go ahead and encourage you again to check out my YouTube channel segment video titled How Self-Publishers Are Saving Money During a Pandemic, How They Were Saving Money Before a Pandemic. There is a part 1 and a part 2. On part 1, I just talk about what working with a publishing house and working for yourself, how that's going to look different. Of course, it's going to look different, but I kind of go into details of why that's going to look different. You don't have contracts involved. You don't have to pay anybody royalties because you decided to take the self-publishing route, and now all proceeds and profits off of that book goes back to your organization or your account as an author. Whatever you decide to do with your funds as an author, you might decide to put those funds off of your book sales back into more self-published books. Maybe your book is about helping cancer patients somehow, right? You're a doctor, you have information about cancer patients. So you might say, okay, every proceed, and you might also want to market that when you begin to market your book in bookstores or on your own personal platform, because that's what it's going to look like too. Outside of you shedding awareness about your book on other, commercials, infomercials, social media, outside of you doing those things, you should, as a self-publisher, you're going to end up having some type of platform of your own. Let me go back to my example, because let's say that book is about helping cancer patients somehow, and you're a doctor. Working with me as a publishing services coordinator for self-published authors might look like discussing and strategizing ways to help you market that book that helps cancer patients. Are you going to also begin to, because you can't sell per se pharmaceuticals just because you're a doctor, but you might have massaging pillows on the website that you share these books that inform cancer patients about certain things. You may have vitamins that you advise them to go check out. Like I say, the more that you're offering with that book. When did y'all see Harry Potter have books somewhere without t-shirts going to, without bookmarks, without the Harry Potter toy at the bookstore somewhere, right? It's always has to do with marketing and promoting their book, right? Like the more you are willing to do for your customers and clients as an author too, because the day you become an author, it's the same day you become an entrepreneur. I hope that makes sense, and this is not the first segment that I've said that on. But the day you become an author, the day you became an entrepreneur. And in the self-published world, we do give you the title Authorpreneur, okay? And I think it's so cute. I've even begun to use it more often. Authorpreneur. This means an author may have a 9-to-5 job still, especially if they're a self-published one, because now somebody has to pay for the cost of things that they're trying to do on their own. But do you see how it is possible? It is, now you're just kind of more self-funding your own projects, even if it takes you fundraising. Have you ever thought about the fact that, hey, you know what? I don't want to just copyright my books. I want to go ahead and register my book writing business, because you just became an entrepreneur. I want to go ahead and get a EIN number, okay? Right? Because now I'm a sole proprietor. Now I'm an independent self-published author. Now I would like to take my career of writing books on the topics of cancer, whether it's lung cancer, brain cancer, because like I said, you might be a doctor, or you may have you might be a nurse assistant, or, because I'm just giving y'all how broad of a range walks of life that authors come from. You may just be somebody who cancer ran through the family, so you've experienced losing 5 people in 1 year from this one disease, right? We're not even talking about COVID yet. This one piece of hair here is really irritating me. Okay, so that's something like that, like what that's going to look like. So let me get back on topic, because the title of this was called Self-Publishing During a Recession, a Pandemic, or Economical Time in History. I just want to encourage somebody, because I know there are people sitting in prison right now wishing that they had all the opportunities to connect with a publishing services coordinator like myself, or a publishing house in general, so they can get a book out, because it shouldn't take you going into forced isolation. And I think about this sometimes, y'all. Like, excuse me if I seem on fire, that I'm pushing my business services off to the public this year. But there are people on their deathbeds, right? That they literally have to think about all they could have did while they were healthy, while they were strong. Or once they do die, it's somebody else now who comes up and capitalizes and say, hey, look, I want to write a book on the story of Whitney Houston, because she just died, and they look at that as a real. I'm just using that as an example. Unfortunate as it is, any book about Whitney Houston's life will probably sell even more now, because the lady's actually gone. Or a book about somebody that's incarcerated, they done already been tried, fair trial, and the judgment has been made, they've been sentenced. Now, it looks like their book will sell, because now everybody saw the trial and they're writing a book for prison. Or somebody else is capitalizing off of that story while they're in prison, and people are still going to buy it, because, like I say, it seems like when people are at that last grip of life, of freedom, the freedom of life, or either life itself, that's when people want to start thinking about doing books. And I feel like it shouldn't be that way, okay? That's on the biography memoir side, like I said, but at the same time, you got a lot of people in the hospital, a lot of people in the military, a lot of people in jail who have real stories and experiences that could help evolve the world, help society somehow, help others see what they went through from another perspective, for example, okay? So my main inspiration, motivation for coming on here is to say, look, I'm going to be Crown Publishing Content whether you publish that book eventually or not. My point is, if the world looks like what it looks like today, and the world has went through other courses of history of things that we wouldn't even know about if writers didn't exist, why would you sit up and think that you have no inspiration to become a self-published author today? If you're already a self-published author, I hope you're not giving up your dreams and hopes all of a sudden because there's an economic disadvantage. Because you already self-published and published authors, and I both know a journal tablet is only $1 at the Dollar Tree, and so is a pack of pens. Okay, you don't have to have a laptop. For a long time, y'all, that stuff like that kept me stagnant. me saying, oh, my laptop broke down right now, or I'm trying to be able to invest in a certain type of one so I can be able to have the software on here that I want, and I'm going to need Wi-Fi so I can be able to do the research for this book. You have libraries out here, guys. You have recreational centers out here that will sit there, workforce. You know what? I'm admitting that now. Because many times the workforce is set up for work or whatever, work purposes, looking for a job, creating that resume, getting job resource, career resource tools and things. But I had considered myself an author sometimes in the period of life where I had to use the workforce centers when I didn't have maybe a computer device. This is what I'm talking about, because this might be some of y'all's situation right now. It's not our business why, but I know this publishing services coordinator understands it's a whole pandemic. The devices you did have might be sitting at the pawn shop because you had a bill or two to pay, and resources are they're still out here, but they can become scarce. Okay, I totally understand. So I'm just reminding you guys, like workforce centers, public libraries, this stuff, fortunately, is open right now because you did have shutdowns. I mean, do y'all even think about that? Some of this stuff that's open right now was not open to the public just a year and a half ago. Just a year ago, you had to make an appointment. You had to come. They were only taking 10 people at a time at the library, and you better have been sitting 6 feet apart. Now that everything is open back to the public and you can freely go do what you need to do, what's funny to me, people are only looking at, oh, well, I just want to go have fun. I want to go do everything I didn't get to do while the shutdown was happening. When you prioritize your life, does that even make sense? I want to go jump on this plane and go travel because I didn't get to do it. You're not even traveling for work purposes. You're traveling because it's spring break. Y'all know spring break just passed. I'm not knocking nobody, but that was probably $2,500 you just spent that could have went into some type of business venture for yourself. Even if it's not becoming an author or self-publishing, that's $2,500 you just used that could have went into tools that you could start that gardening business, that landscaping business, that esthetician business, ladies. That $2,500 could have went into cosmetology school that's only gonna, y'all know what technical skills and technical colleges are about. You're getting skills in a shorter amount of time. So while this stuff is open, because schools were open, you just had to go online when it comes to colleges and stuff, but while these hands-on type of colleges and stuff are out here, I hope, because to me it is my job in a way too, whether I get paid for it or not. I was once the young generation whom older people had to guide me through certain things to make things make sense to me when it came to prioritizing things, and it wasn't even a pandemic going on then. So if I find myself in my early or mid 30s right now, and I know that it's young people out here who could use this type of advice or use these type of topics to encourage them to do something, then I do find that my duty. And I do hope more elders in our communities, near and abroad, look at things that way. Because yes, all we worried about and concerned, y'all, is us and what we're going through and how this is so unfortunate for us. Y'all, there's a whole future to think about, and it's your children. It's your neighbor's children. It's the children near and abroad that you think are not your responsibility, that you think that, you have no duty to serve in this life. So I kind of got off topic with that, but yeah, I feel like people should think that through. Don't just be going out here spending money to do activities. I'm gonna be honest, people have invited me into the new year. They've invited me to come do many activities. Yeah, people have invited me to travel. People have invited me to do this, do that. And I'm like, see, this is what being an entrepreneur during the pandemic is going to look like anyway. If being an entrepreneur already was something that a lot of people didn't understand, a lot of people didn't respect, it's definitely a little more challenging now. No matter what type of small business you have, you're expecting people to respect and understand that, look, just because I work from home don't mean I have extra time to do X, Y, and Z with you, or go do these extra activities, or just travel when you think I should travel because you ain't seen me in 10 years. It's a pandemic. If anything, this is more time for me to focus on my life, what I really want. We all see what's going on in Ukraine and Russia right now. Like, tomorrow is not promised to any of us. But let's say only 50% of us make it into tomorrow. And if we do, are we going to have doctors there? Are we going to have scientists there? Are we going to have at least some type of media podcasters there? Are we going to have writers there who can continue to transcribe the things that are going on in history today so that the people in the future can know what it was like to live like us? If you didn't think that writers were important, you're wrong. So anyways, yeah, I might have got invited to do things or go places, but guess what? If it was not business oriented, like sometimes it did. It took me through a pandemic as a self-publisher, as a self-published artist, as a self-published author, as a publishing services coordinator over my own small business. It took me really transitioning into the very relative and real fact that if you don't run your business, nobody's going to run it for you. They might take over it and then, do it how they want to do it. Because we just talked about how things look, how people quick to write a book about your life and stuff like that after you're gone. But if I know that, people had to stock up on toilet paper and water just 2 years ago, there have been global climate change storms that randomly come anywhere, any state you're in, and you may have to rebuild. Like, do y'all understand that many people are rebuilding their lives as we speak? As you're sitting on YouTube comfortably in your bed, on your couch, and you're relaxing on your job, there's somebody out here starting over, not because they were not hard workers. They was at work when the tornado came and messed up, or the hurricane, or the snowstorm, whatever it was, or when Russia invaded. See, you don't always have to, it don't always have to be something you did that caused you to go through an unfortunate chain of events. What I will encourage people to do is, if you went through an unfortunate chain of events in your life and you survived them, why haven't you wrote a book about it? I mean, I'm supposed to talk like this. I'm a publishing services coordinator. I like to help authors bring their stories out. It doesn't matter what walk of life you come from. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. It doesn't matter if you're a child or an adult. Because, I mean, there's fiction books, there's non-fiction books. Don't you know some of y'all's stories are not only captivating, but will help somebody else get through their season of hardship as well? So your experience could help the next entrepreneur have to skip over loops and holes that they might not have to go through. And there's a way you can kind of give that message outside of YouTube, outside of social media. You can write a whole book. This monetizes you. This monetizes your story. This gives you the opportunity to even come up with new platforms, even become a motivational speaker, right? This is not going to look that way for everybody. Let's say, like I say, it's a cookbook. Now you're going to chef conferences, best chef conferences, 10 best chefs in the state conferences. The other chefs are bringing their recipes, and they brought all their cookware, and they brought all the ingredients they need because this is a cook-off. But you're the one chef that came with all your ingredients and tools and stuff that you need to, ready to compete. But at the end of that competition, whether you win or not, guess what? Now you got books. Now you got books to market. Maybe even a book signing going on after that cook-off. So if people want to learn more about your recipes or how to 10 different ways to cook one egg, they can get that from you. Like, do we think like that? So anyways, this is what a pandemic or economical disadvantage in society is going to look like. That part is true. Like, there's a whole recession, pandemic, inflation, all that is going on right now. But everybody's reaction and perception to it is 100% different, okay? Like, that's the only thing that we can agree on in 2022 is that it's happening. Everybody's perception, though, on it is like, you got some people that still gonna live like it's 1998. regardless of what happens in society, okay? You got some people that's going to live like they're preparing for the future because they care about what happens in society. They're that conscious. Then you got some people that just want to do whatever pleases them and makes them happy regardless of what's going on in society. And then, which I feel like do what you do is your life regardless of what happens in society, right? But don't try to stampede or crush somebody else's dream. Something they're choosing to do with what might be their last days. Yeah, because like I said, there's so much going on. If anything, what we're seeing is everybody's true colors, their true characteristics. What I say on the segment yesterday, you don't know who a person is because the quote says when you know better, you do better. That doesn't mean that everybody does. Everybody loves the truth. Everybody loves the advantage of knowing what the truth is about a fact. But to me, who your character really is what you do with the knowledge that you obtain. See, I could know about weapons all day long and still not have a weapon in my. Have anybody thought about that? I could research weapons all day long and still choose not to have a weapon in my home because I see in society how many babies are ended up with these weapons when parents are not looking. And they're literally, like, this is a real situation, guys. Kids are coming up dead just because they got a hold of their parents' weapon. There's been a story here recently. 2 teenagers got killed. They were cousins at a birthday party. But because adults, they're just not responsible, or you got kids bringing the weapons all the way to school, or you got people bringing weapons all the way to church. I mean, so my opinion about weapons is my opinion. I just feel like they're crazy. Everybody shouldn't be able to access them, but with what's going on today, a lot of people do. See, what that very topic I just talked about with weapons, I could write a whole book on. So I'll save it for books. But this segment is about what self-publishing is going to look like, or maybe that you have a story, maybe that you have experienced something through this pandemic that you would like to write about, that you would want people to read about. That's something maybe that I could talk about because it's like everybody is not going to choose the same route. For example, I might have made enemies just from saying, no, I don't want to go on that trip with y'all for spring break because, number one, I want to stay as healthy as possible. I don't believe all COVID is gone, okay? It took me a long time to even get out, like, just my kids may want to go to the mall, want to go swimming, just like normal life, like we used to do, but things are not the same. So, number one, because, it's like, no, I don't want to go to any crowded places that people are going just because it's spring break, just because I was on lockdown for a year and a half. Like, I actually am one of the people that understand why there was a lockdown at major beaches, and ships and cruise ships and stuff. So I'm not one of the people just gonna run and jump on it even if I had the money. Shouldn't we be investing the money or saving the money in case another catastrophe happened? Like, did we not learn anything at all? These are perfect book topics. Maybe you don't want to write a book. Maybe you want to start a newsletter, a blog, or something like that. Did you know you could start something like that? Hire a ghostwriter. Maybe you write 1,800 words, they write 1,800 words. I'm just giving you an example. Now you have an official weekly blog that you are updating, and you still have a job, and everybody that subscribes to your blog pays $3.99 a month. You don't have room to think about that type of stuff, though. If you're going to spend up money, you're still buying Dior bags and Chanel, trying to keep up with the Joneses, because and during a pandemic, like, y'all can do what y'all want to do. But I was just talking about my personal experience a little bit. Like, I really did gain enemies from, let's say somebody said, hey, we're having a barbecue down here on 20th Street. Come on by. And I didn't come by. Because you really be trying to spur people feelings. And it's like, oh, okay. I told them from the beginning that I might. But they just noticed they never, hey, I thought you said you were coming. Look, baby, I didn't ever say I was coming. I said I might, or we'll see. You just be trying to spur people feelings, because who wants to sit up here and constantly explain that, hey, it's a pandemic, it's a recession, it's an economical disadvantage point in history right now for my country. Like, I don't want to just live the way that I was living. If it took that for for me. I don't want to live like that. I don't want to frivolously spend on what you think I should spend on or do this. It even got to like, I'm not finna just sit here and accept things from people all the time no more either. Number one, I don't know where you got it from. Number two, yeah, like if it's brand new, that's totally different. I know you got it directly from that place or whoop-de-whoop. But even then, you gotta be careful because I don't know who all touched this box before you got over here. What's in it? All I know is COVID literally took lives within the past 2 years, and that I have kids to be here for. So something like a time like this should make everybody really truly reconsider what is significant to them, what is important to them, what they do have energy to waste. I ain't gonna say because none of us have energy to waste, but what they do have energy to invest in, what's worth their energy, what's not, what's worth their time, what's not. Because like I say, I don't say it. The quote has said for many years, time is money. I admit that I didn't understand that for a long time. It didn't matter if I made a certain amount per hour. Like, to me, I still was like, that's what they mean? Like, this why we get paid? This why we punch in the clock? Or no. When I became an entrepreneur, if I got a taste of entrepreneurship at any point in my life, and I said, oh, okay, time is money. If I'm not working with a customer or client to help them happy and making money to do it, I should be using my time to sharpen the ways that I'm offering, to learn a new skill or trade that I can. I mean, there's so much positivity, so many positive things we can do with our time. I'm researching something that's going to help my business or help my clients and customers. I'm going to research people that help people like me that would like to do this. I'm going to put some extra time into college. Like, I used to be one of them people, holler real quick, I'm bored. Let me go spend some money. Let me go. Think I'm like that now? Yeah, I'm not. First of all, gas is high. And COVID rates are resurfacing again. Food inflation prices are resurfacing again. So it's very rare these days you're going to hear me say I'm bored. What I don't like is people like really call themselves burning or playing with my time. Like they come with the intention to waste your time. Y'all. Anyways, like, you ain't going to hear me say I'm bored ever again. I could sit and research how to start a garden, make my garden as fresh and as professional and as pleasurable as possible if I didn't know how to start a garden right now. I could learn how to do this. I could learn how to do that. That's what everybody should be doing. Because, like, to me, society couldn't do nothing but get better if everybody is doing nothing but full-blown working on themselves, saving money where they can. People say they're doing this, y'all, but it's so much. How y'all still got money to travel to Paris, London, France? You're not rich, so I don't know how y'all doing it, but you just swear you're going to do anything you got to do to be happy. So you're going to live your life. Live your life. But don't get mad at us ones that say, no, we're not taking that trip. We're not coming to that gathering. We don't want you in our house. Oh, now we're the weird social. We used to be social butterflies. Now we're the weird standoffs. That's fine. Call us what you want to. We're the ones actually with the little hope. We walk by faith and not by sight. We have a little hope that maybe we can weather this storm of COVID, of wars, of inflation, of maybe, just maybe. We're not trying to be all out, trying to do the same things we were doing pre-COVID. Because obviously, none of us were ready when it came. No. The ones of y'all that had saving, your savings has even deflated a little bit because, you had to spend extra money on Clorox wipes and bleaching. Now it's gas. So, if you were thinking about writing a book, rethink about it and think about it quick because now is going to be a great time to do it. I've never seen so many businesses with so many discounts or service changes in their packages and things that they're offering, and I can't admit if you don't want a publishing services coordinator. like with me, it's just good to even book a consultation and ask some questions before you even contact publishing houses. Maybe you already have 30 of them written down. They're still good. And you've researched them. You said, I'm going to do one more thing. I'm gonna contact Crown Publishing Content and see what this young lady has to say as far as a consultation with us. When I tell her what my goals are, what I'm trying to do, I just want to hear what she think I can save money because it's a pandemic. I want to hear what the mistakes she said she's made and what she learned working with publishing houses because it's a pandemic and I want to save money. Like, it's not going to hurt you. Everybody's first consultation is absolutely free. You can book consultations. The link is going to be in the comment section or the description section because for whatever reason, I'm still learning how to open the comments on certain videos. Sometimes it lets me do it, sometimes it doesn't. My main goal was to leave the comments closed, guys, until I got to 100 subscribers. We are, 78 subscribers away. So, I started with just, we had to start somewhere. So thank you, 22 subscribers that have been a part of our YouTube channel so far and things like that. But just reconsider. Yes, do your research, call the publishing houses, but there's nothing wrong with self-publishing your book. I can tell you that much because the rest you need to book a consultation. You're going to save a lot of money, and because nobody has extra money to be throwing around here just for the contract, for them to find out 3-4 years later it was a bad contract, okay? And like I said, there's nothing wrong with becoming an established author, maybe getting you an EIN number, not just copywriting those books, copywriting your author name. It's so much we could talk about in publication services consultations, okay? Which is still business. This is why we offer the same type of consultations for small businesses, no matter what type of freelancer entrepreneur you are. There's just like information sometimes that people need along the way. They should, they can go to SBA.gov. They can go to all these different other platforms too and find out information. We're just another one, okay? Because, things vary per state you live in and depending on the type of work that you're trying to do, okay? You're going to save a lot of money when you self-publish, which works great. If you were thinking about writing a book, maybe you haven't written it because a pandemic hadn't been here yet and publishers weren't charging cheaper prices right now because it's a pandemic, and you didn't know you could save more money during a pandemic. I would say it's a perfect time to go ahead and do something like that. You do have those options. Maybe you've written a little bit of it already and you want some help writing the rest, okay? A ghostwriter, I don't think y'all understand how that goes too. I think I'm going to do a whole separate segment about the art and the craft of ghostwriting, okay? But a ghostwriter, I don't think y'all understand this. I even got into it with a lady before, y'all, because she didn't understand that when you ghostwrite something for me, number one, if we didn't do a contract, I don't owe you anything. I don't owe you anything unless I'm satisfied, number one, with whether we have a contract or not. That's like paying for a pair of shoes you can't even fit and that you don't like. My point was, she did a great job. She went and it was timely, but maybe I don't like what you like what you submitted. So her option was to rewrite it or just say, well, look, I don't think I can bring what you. Okay, so you lost time. She felt like she lost time because she at least tried. I felt like I lost time because I sat there and waited thinking you were going to present. But see, I know the business, so I was going to be willing to wait, ma'am, for you to go and change the few things I said that you should change when it comes to me not liking what you sent. Go ahead and change those things, and then we can talk about a contract. Or that was then. It was a whole learning lesson because number one, I'm not going to ghostwrite I'm not even going to begin a project with one of my clients without their signature saying they don't have to pay me a dime unless they're satisfied with my work. See how that goes? They don't have to pay me a dime. There might be a deposit. It depends on what it is, okay? Because you got different type of ghostwriting projects. But let's say that deposit is refundable because I have to resubmit a new manuscript to you every 30 days because the first 30 days, which is 60 days in total, you didn't like what I submitted. if I'm really real at what I do, I should be willing to rewrite and rewrite and rewrite until that author or whoever the servicer is willing to pay me for the work I satisfied them with. Separate topic, but still kind of ties into like how it's still cheaper. Cause you'll have to catch on to stuff like that. Like, man, I can't. There's no way I have 3 books like this, but there's no way I can get all 3 of them out in 2022. That's a lie. That's a lie. You just didn't think of ways that you can have help with each one of those books, and you can still own the rights and ownerships, and all your royalty payments can all be yours. I mean, I'm saying you can have 100% of book sales if you learn how to promote and market yourself where you're saving money. Or because some authors, I'm gonna tell y'all that, to me, some independent self-published authors are going to have to start a different way because their income is set up a different way, especially during a pandemic. Maybe you don't want to start off in bookstores, okay? So you start your own platform to get people to notice your book. Maybe you contact publishers yourself. You don't need a literary agent. You don't need a publishing services coordinator like myself. You begin submitting your own manuscript and work to publishers yourself. I've taken that route too. I just like to tell people what to expect, what to watch out for, and their options, because you don't always have to do that. It depends on what your goals are as an author. Do you want to be a self-published author, or you want to share your royalties off your book forever because you chose to sign a contract with the publishing house? Like, that's just stuff to think about. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Crown Content Publications YouTube channel where publishing and marketing meet. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give me a like. There's more coming because I didn't even think about doing stuff like that, like breaking down, formatting, ghostwriting, book cover designing, just breaking down what this stuff looks like for a self-published author. Yes, they're still having to invest in getting these services professionally done on their book or doing it themselves. Either way, you're having to invest in yourself. Either way, just about everybody is investing in themselves some way, shape, or form during this pandemic. But I do strongly feel that the route of writing is always going to be a good route to go. You got medical doctors that still need content writers right now, guys. Like they are trying to put books out here. Are you willing to write and write and write until that medical doctor is satisfied with the content that you brought to him so he can go ahead and get that on his website? If you're not built for that type of stuff, then that type of content writing work is not for you. But maybe writing a book of your own is. Maybe starting a blog is. Maybe starting your own newsletter is. You see what I'm saying? But regardless of which venture direction you go, there is help for you as a writer. You can even end up obtaining a writing job. So now, as you're writing your books, you have a writing job. You can't do nothing but get better. You can't do nothing but, all you do is write on the side for your own job. You might not write the same type of content that you are writing for your own books, but now you're gaining more and more experience as a writer, okay? Anyways, yes, like I said, in the description section is going to be my website again. Maybe my IG, because I want you guys to be encouraged and feel welcome to go ahead and start following me, and projects and updated services that Crown Publishing Content will eventually have on our website. There's some merch on there, guys, as well, if you'd like to support my small business. We have Crown Publishing Content t-shirts and journal tablets available where you can, like, if you're a small business owner, it's so small and compatible. I was trying to think, do I have it in here with me? But you can travel with it. It'll fit in your business bag, briefcase. It'll fit in the car, in the glove department, right? But it's a really thick tablet. You can use it as a phone book, an address book, or somewhere to keep notes if you're a college student. But it can help anybody, or your story outlines, you're trying to write a book, you're a journaler, you can use it as a diary, okay? But this would be a way that you can support the Crown Publishing Content family, okay? Thank you guys for tuning in, and until next time, we thank you for your support.